Thank you, Barry. It's really interesting what you've been saying so far. And at the beginning, when you talked about data, one of the points was around how key questions are really important and asking the right kind of questions. So with that in mind, what would you recommend as the right types of questions when selling a service?
Well, I have a couple questions about that. What is the value of asking a question?
I guess it's that piece around understanding, isn't it? Listening, understanding their problem, and then thinking about how you could be a solution.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask all of you, what's the value of asking a question?
It allows them to talk about themselves, which most people like doing.
Even before that, Chris, what are you all doing when I ask you?
Thinking.
Thinking, which is a good place to start. Okay, now so number one, it gets people thinking, and the questions you ask help direct what people think about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's point number two. Okay, Sarah, you've done a number of these Q&As. Sarah's the one asking the questions, and then the guest is the one who's talking. Who's controlling the conversation?
Person asking the questions.
The person asking the questions. I've been dominating this call because I'm doing all the talking, but the person asking the questions is who's controlling the conversation.
Are they though? Because don't you just answer the question you want to answer? I've asked many questions where you get an answer. It's a bit of typical politician, isn't it?
Sure, they'll answer the question they wanted to answer in the first place. They don't answer your question. But and that's politics, which is a whole other thing we won't go into today. So the value of questions is it gets people thinking, and it helps you, direct the conversation. Now, Laura, what kinds of questions are you familiar with? You asked what are the right kinds of questions. What kind of questions do you know about?
I mean, for me, I'm an HR consultant, so I'm selling HR support to charities primarily. So I will ask them about their organization and about what the problems are that they're facing and the sorts of things that they need support with, or what they think they need support with.
Sure.
So it'll be kind of discovery questions, trying to get under the skin of the issue.
Great. So discovery questions. Great. Most people ask discovery questions, or what often called journalism questions: what, why, how much, when, and so on. In both of the blanks, they talked about open and closed end. And one of the questions, somebody said they're an introvert and they approach this, they like a softer approach. A lot of people think of open-ended questions as sort of softer or easy, whereas closed being anything you can answer yes or no, being sort of more driven or whatever. I don't think that's useful at all. I mean, I'll tell you what. Questions are worth studying, and there are two places you can go to learn about them. One was referenced in the blanks, and that's spin selling. Okay. And SPIN is an acronym: situation, problem, implication, need, payoff. Okay, that's where SPIN comes from. And Neil Rackham, this might work for you guys since he's a Brit, really good guy, and one of the first ones who actually did some research to support his assertions. Good guy, by the way. My background, I was with Miller Heiman for 9 years. The original conceptual selling, and then the new conceptual selling, which is still the same. Either one is fine, but this is where I learned about questions. And in conceptual selling, there are 5 kinds of questions: confirmation, new information, confirmation, new information, attitude, and commitment questions. Okay, how many is that?
4.
4. And the 5th one are basic issue questions. 5 kinds of questions, how and when you should use them. Changed my life.
Perfect, lovely. I'll get onto those. Thank you. It's really helpful.
Good thing to know. It's always safe to start a call with a confirmation question. And here's
And
the
a
best.
lot of that's used, used a lot in marketing, isn't it? I mean, I do it myself with Read to Lead. It's, do you have a pile of unread business books? Or, it's kind of asking that question, you're instantly getting them to think and answer it and kind of join you along that journey already, isn't it?
So that could be
Okay,
a new
thanks.
information question. Confirmation question, always safe to start with, is to state the valid business reason why you're meeting today and ask, is that still true?
Yeah.
Here's my understanding of why we're getting together today. We've got 40 minutes to do it. Is that still true? And a lot of times you'll say, oh, you must not have heard.
Interesting. Really
Yeah.
interesting.
Okay,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you for that.